Oh boy, do I have a fun one for you guys today. We're going to go through the highlights of the Tory leadership contest. The leadership contest that was so toxic, right, that they cancelled the TV debate, another TV debate that was meant to happen because things got so toxic. So we're going to look at some of the clips, and it is glorious, absolutely glorious. So shouts out to Haggis, who's clipped all this stuff up, right? This stuff's beautiful right here. I think this is the one I wanted to go off first, which is about they're asked about if they're going to have a leadership an election after the leadership contest. They said no. This one's about Rishi's great economic plan. This is Liz Truss just going after him for it.
Got this great plan for growth. Why haven't we seen it in his last 2.5 years at the Treasury?
So I just want to replay that.
Why haven't we seen it in his last 2.5 years at the Treasury?
I don't know why it's so glitchy, but she's saying if he's got such a great plan for growth, why haven't we seen it during his time at the Treasury? And I think that's a great question she asked. You've got this one. This one's pretty great as well. You know, Sunak got absolutely shut up by Liz Truss here.
I mean, I think everyone realises that we were going to have to pay that back. But I'd love to stand here. I'd love to stand here and say, look, I'll cut this tax, that tax, and another tax, and it will all be OK. But you know what? It won't. There's a cost to these things, the cost of higher inflation, higher mortgage rates, eroded savings. And you know what? This something-for-nothing economics isn't conservative, it's socialism.
Under your plans, we are predicted to have a recession.
And our recession is going to be far deeper than a lot of the European countries as well.
Because you have raised tax, it is cutting back on growth, it is preventing companies from investing, and it's taking money out of people's pockets.
I think our tax, the amount of tax we're paying is like 35% of GDP or something like that. It's wild.
That is no way to get the economy going during a recession.
And I think she's right there. You know, doing tax rises, it's not the thing we need. See, this is another one where you can tell Rishi Sunak was really going after Liz Truss here. And this one's, I don't think he's really covered himself in any glory here.
My question's for Liz, actually. And Liz, in your past, you've been both a Liberal Democrat and a Remainer. I was just wondering which one you regretted most.
I am somebody who was not born into the Conservative Party. I went to school in Paisley and Leeds. I went to a comprehensive school. My parents were left-wing activists, and I've been...
I would have said to Liz Truss, you know, it looks like you're kind of drawn to power here. You were a Lib Dem who, you know, were never going to gain power. You joined the Tory party. You were a Remainer. You decided to join the Brexit bandwagon when you realised which way the wind was blowing. And here you are being the biggest seller on Brexit because this is the only way you can prove your credentials. There was one last thing I did want to talk about. So this is an advert from Labour, which they made using clips from the leadership contest. And this is glorious.
All your bills every week, every month, they're going up and up and up.
What we've seen in recent years is taxes rising to the highest level in 70 years.
Under your plans, we are predicted to have a recession.
It has been a really difficult time with public sector pay. We need to create an economy that can fund it, and I'm not sure we're there yet.
I'd love to stand here and say, look, I'll cut this tax, that tax, and another tax, and it will all be OK. But you know what? It won't.
Okay. Higher food prices, higher petrol prices.
People need help now.
We make promises we can't keep.
It's not just
the promises we can't keep. It is particularly scathing.
Wrong. It's dangerous. We cannot make it worse.
If Rishi has got this great plan for growth, why haven't we seen it in his last 2.5 years at the Treasury?
I'm sorry, yeah. That's something you would hear a Labour politician saying, not another Tory. I mean, that one there, I think that's probably the best line of the debates. It's brutal, absolutely brutal.
I'm finding it very difficult to understand who's disowning and who's defending the record of the last few years that they've been in government.
That's quite an interesting one as well. You know, you've got a load of Tories running away from their record over the last few years. And let's not forget they've been in charge for 12 years. So when Liz Truss talks about stagnant growth for decades, you've been in charge for 12 years. And, you know, they had the big advantage of inheriting the country just after the Great Recession. So their growth numbers should have been way higher than they were. Instead, we saw a double-dip recession.
The worst economic crisis for a generation.
Why should the public trust us? We haven't exactly covered ourselves in glory.
I mean, yeah, that's a fair statement. And, you know, you've got the Conservative tree kind of dying. What I find really weird is the fact that they didn't put their Labour kind of mark on it. I find that really strange. I guess the question would crop up, what are Labour Party solutions? And they wouldn't have an answer. So I'm hoping I don't get copyrighted for this video. A claim is fine, but not strike. Please be cool, people. But anyways, I'm going to leave it there. This was a brutal leadership election. This was far worse than last time. You got a lot of people who are desperate for the position, and they know they know that Rishi Sunak's the favourite and they have to put themselves on the ballot somehow. I'm assuming that's why Liz Truss is trying to, prove she can fight Sunak. Maybe she's hoping some of the Sunak voters have doubt, some of the Sunak backing MPs have doubt. I don't know. But anyways, let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, support the channel on Patreon if you can, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.